Alright, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Lala Mag back at it again with another motherfucking video. And I know it's been a long time. I haven't been too consistent with the videos, but I've been focused on this modeling thing, trying to get that off the ground, trying to make sure, I'm settled into that first before I try to do a whole bunch of things at once, because me personally, I'm not very good at multitasking. So yeah. And I said I was going to do some vlogs during the photo shoots that I'd be doing or whatever, or just like during some of the films or whatever I'll be doing. I said I was going to do some vlogs, and I haven't gotten to it only because I've been recovering, and at the time when I first started YouTube, I wasn't too far along in my recovering process or journey, whatever, and I need to carry like a lot of supplies wherever I went, so it was just easier for me to just not do the vlogs. But now that I'm almost fully recovered, whoop whoop whoop, yeah, now that I'm almost fully recovered, I could start taking my stuff with me to the photo shoots to do vlogs. So that's what I'm gonna do. So look out for that, for vlogs. Yeah, there's just been a whole bunch of updates or whatever, but we're gonna talk about that in another video. In this video, as you can see from the title and the thumbnail, I'm going to be giving a story time, and we're gonna be hotboxing. By the way, the story is about my car accident. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests from people that I know in real life, and they've been telling me to do a little story time about what happened in my accident. So that's what I'm gonna do, because too many people been telling me. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I'm here to do today. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the story. Woo! Okay, story time about my car accident. So my car accident, it was in October 2022. It was the end of October. It was either the 29th or the 30th, but yeah. Okay, so boom. Before the accident, I was a college student. For those who don't know, I was a college student. And when I was going to school, I was doing DoorDash. So this particular day that I got into the accident or whatever, me and my boyfriend at the time and my friends, because it was one of my friends' birthday, we started the day. Usually I start the day, me and my boyfriend, we go DoorDash together, and then we go DoorDash together, and then we see what the day holds, whatever, see what we about to do for the day. And yeah, if he gotta go to work, he go to work, and yeah, I continue doing DoorDash or whatever. So yeah, pretty much today was my friend's, well, it wasn't her birthday, but we was supposed to be celebrating her birthday. So that day, woke up, did the normal shit, did DoorDash with my nigga or whatever. And then later on, we ended up going to my friend's house to pregame or whatever, or to just chill, figure out what she was going to do later on that day for her birthday. So, yeah. So we went over to my friend's house. We took a couple shots or whatever, and we was drinking a little bit, whatever. And yeah. So after we left, he had to go to work, and we had, okay, so the plan was for us to, because I guess we was still waiting for people. Not everybody was like available at the time. Some people was at work. Some people had class or whatever, so yeah, we was just waiting for everybody. And we had agreed that, okay, we're gonna meet back up at my friend's house the birthday girl, we was gonna meet back up at her house after everybody got done, and everybody agreed that they would be done around like 8 or 9. So that was the time that we were supposed to meet back up at her house, right? My boyfriend went to work or whatever, and in the meantime, I was just going DoorDash or whatever and wait for everybody to be done. I go dashing, whatever. It's cool, blah, blah. It starts to creep up around like 8 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to take this last order real quick. And then I'm about to get dressed, then head over to my friend's house. Okay, cool. I pick up the last order. And I'm on the way to the person's house. The street that I'm on, it has 2 regular lanes on each side, and then it has a turning lane in the middle. So I'm in the left lane, closer to the turning lane. And in the street that I'm about to pass on the right side, on this side, there's a street that I'm about to pass on the right side, right? In the turning lane is this big ass white truck. And I'm going straight, and the white truck is trying to turn onto the street that I'm about to pass, right? I'm thinking, okay, this truck is going to wait. For some reason, the truck decides to pull out at the last minute, just as I'm about to pass them. They decide to pull out. So it happened so damn quick. Like, I didn't have no time to like stomp on the brakes. So the whole time I'm about to hit the truck, whole time I'm just like, what the fuck? Because I'm like, why would you pull out? Like, I'm literally right there. Like, all this time you had to pull out. This truck literally seen me. Well, I don't know if she seen me, but if she was paying attention, she would have seen me, because like there was a good amount of time for her to go if she wanted to go. But she waited right until I was about to pass her for her to try to go, and I ended up slamming into her. So boom, I slammed into her. Oh, before I slammed into her, I knew we was gonna crash into each other. So I closed my eyes, boom, slammed into her. And it's crazy because it's not even like I really passed out, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, so much time passed, because I don't know, but so much time had passed, or it felt like so much time had passed in between the time that I crashed into her and then the time where somebody was there trying to get me out the car. Like, it seemed like so much time had passed, but I don't know, because I don't feel like I passed out, because I remember it's not, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like I passed out, but I guess I might have passed out. So yeah. Anyways, when I open my eyes, I'm like on the passenger seat. So like, I didn't have no seatbelt on, and my body was like, it was laid on the passenger seat like that. And then, so by the time I open my eyes, the ambulance is already there. Somebody's already like trying to talk to me or whatever. And then they're like, are you okay? The ambulance is here. They're about to get you out of the car. And I was just like, no. At the time when I opened my eyes, like, it was a weird feeling. Like, I wasn't necessarily in pain, but I kind of was at the same time. Like, it was just such a weird feeling. But yeah. So finally, the ambulance comes. Now, the ambulance been there or whatever, because I see the lights flashing and shit through the car windows. So the ambulance is there. But the whole time, like, I don't know what they doing. I don't know. But at first, I'm just talking to like I don't know if they're like a pedestrian or a police officer, because I couldn't move my neck. So all I was looking at was the ceiling, the car ceiling. But I'm, still talking to them or whatever. So, yeah. and they're just like, oh, like keep your eyes open, you're okay, da da da. Or they're not saying I'm okay, but like they're just saying everything's gonna be okay, da da da. So yeah. Yeah. So finally the ambulance came, and the ambulance starts talking to me, you know, asking all these questions like, oh, what can you feel, and what happened, like what's your name, how old are you, do you know the date, like, you know, all this extra shit. And at the time, like, I just got into an accident, and like the position that I'm stuck in, I'm not really stuck because nothing is on top of me or something. I'm stuck because I can't move. So the position that I'm in, like, is uncomfortable, but I can't move myself. So I'm just like, stop fucking talking to me. Like, stop talking to me. Get me out the car. No, I can't feel shit. No, get it. Like, get me out the car. So I'm getting aggravated or whatever. And they're just like trying to calm me down. Okay, cool. They're just like, ma'am, like, we have to ask these questions, blah, blah, blah. And after the questions, they finally start to try to get me out the car. And like I said, at the beginning, when I first like got into the car accident, I was in pain, but I couldn't feel nothing at the same time. Like it was a weird feeling. But when they finally tried to get me out the car, like they was grabbing me, like they was moving my head, and then they was grabbing me by like my armpits, trying to like drag me out or drag me on the thing. And that's when I started to really, really feel like pain. And then I was like yelling and screaming. But of course they kept going because they're like, well, we can't leave you in the car, so we have to get you out. Okay, cool. They got me out, and I go to the hospital. Now that they finally get me out the car, every little thing hurts. Like when I'm in the ambulance, in the back of the ambulance, you know, every little bump or whatever, like, you know, because that shit is shaky as hell. Whoever don't know, when you in the back of an ambulance, like that shit, they're moving around all the time. That shit is shaky. So yeah, the whole time I'm just like, I'm not crying, but I'm just like kind of screaming, like, like that hurts, da da da. Boom, I finally get to the hospital or whatever. They're asking me more questions, like what happened, da da da. But yeah, they cut my sweater off to, you know, examine everything or whatever. And eventually they told me to call somebody or whatever. They gave me my phone. First person I called was my boyfriend at the time. Second person I called was my mom. And when I called my boyfriend, like, we had each other's location. So he seen me at the hospital, but like I said, I do DoorDash, so he assumed that I was just DoorDashing or whatever. So I called him, and then he was like, hello. And I was like, you know, I just got into a car accident, da da da. Of course, you know, he's like, what? Like, I'm on the way, da da da, I'm about to come. Then I called my mom, and my mom, it's so crazy, like, I called my mom. I did not think that she was gonna come because she just sounded so calm. Like, even though I should have known she was gonna come. Obviously, that's my mom, but she sounded so calm. I was like, Mom, I just got into an accident. She was like, okay, like, what happened? She was like, and at the time, this was after they told me that they was gonna have to fly me to Norfolk General. For those who don't know, I live in North Carolina. The city in North Carolina that I live in, the hospital's fucking trash. So whenever something like bad like that happens, where somebody really, really needs like surgery or something like that, they gotta fly them to another hospital. But yeah, so By the time I called my mom, they had already told me, like, okay, we're going to have to fly you to Norfolk General. So when I was talking to her, I'm like, all right, I got into an accident, whatever. And she was like, what's happening? Well, she said it real calm, like very calm. She was like, oh my God. She was like, what happened? And I was like, I don't know what's wrong, but they telling me they sending me to Norfolk General. And she just said, okay. And I was like, all right, bye. So boom. My boyfriend comes in, whatever. He's upset because he sees me like that. And yeah. So me, I do know. I tried to break up with him. And the reason why I tried to break up with him was because at the time, like, I couldn't feel nothing. And I didn't know what was going on. And because I didn't feel nothing, I already knew whatever was going on, it was going to take a long ass time for me to recover. So we're both young and he got a lot going on. So I felt like I would be holding him back to try to, if I was, I don't know. I just didn't want to hold him back. So me trying to, not be selfish or whatever, I tried to break up with him and he told me no. Which I'm glad he did, because that whole journey was very crazy. But yeah, he ended up telling me no. And he was just like, what type of man would I be if I was to break up with you? Like, why would I do that? So yeah, they told him that they about to get ready to put me on a helicopter to go to Norfolk General. And they told him that he couldn't ride with me. And yeah, so he ended up in Norfolk or whatever. By the time I woke up from surgery, he was there. He was there, my brother was there, and I think my mom was there. But yeah, boom. So I go into the helicopter or whatever. By the way, so they had just cut my fucking shirt. I'm not I hate the cold. I really hate the cold. Even though I'm from Connecticut, I hate the fucking cold. So when they cut my shirt, I knew that they was going to like have me outside. So I'm asking them, like, y'all not gonna put nothing on me? They like, yeah, we got you. And then they put on this thin motherfucking sheet as it, like, it's October. You're finna have me outside with no coat, no shirt, and a thin ass sheet. Like, what? So when I was going up there, it felt like it took them a good 15, 20, it really felt like a good 20, 30 minutes getting me in that motherfucking helicopter. It probably didn't take that long, but I was in the cold for so fucking long. Like, it felt like I was outside forever. Then they finally get me. First of all, I'm thinking, okay, when I finally get in this motherfucking helicopter, they're gonna have some heat in this bitch. No, I'm freezing cold in a fucking sheet, wrapped up in a sheet, a thin ass sheet at that. So yeah, boom, I finally get to Norfolk General, whatever. And yeah, they keep saying that they're gonna rush me into surgery, but it took a whole day for them to put me in surgery or to get me in surgery. So the whole time, like, I'm just in pain and I'm just like sitting there, like, waiting. And I'm like, when am I gonna have the surgery? Like, because I'm in pain. So they're giving me medicine. That shit's not fucking working. And I'm like, where the fuck is this doctor at? It didn't take a whole day, but I got into I got into the accident like around like 8, between like 8, 9 o'clock. I didn't get into surgery or out of surgery until like the next day / afternoon. So yeah, that whole time, like, it wasn't a whole day, but I was just basically like in pain for hours, because they was giving me medicine. They was trying to give me medicine, but that shit was not doing nothing. So yeah, but I finally had the surgery, and I ain't gonna lie, before the surgery I was so scared. I was so scared to go into surgery, only because I don't know, I kept thinking I was gonna die. I kept thinking I was going to die in surgery. I don't know why. Probably too much movies I be watching or whatever. But but I dead ass thought I was going to die on the table. But I didn't say nothing to nobody. Like, I didn't express how I was scared of going to surgery. But that's all I was thinking. Like, I'm about to die on this table. These people about to kill me. But yeah. Came out of surgery. Now, from what they was telling me, like my boyfriend and my brother and stuff like that, came out of surgery. They was talking to each other. My boyfriend was on the phone with my friends and you know, telling everybody I just got into an accident, yada yada yada. My brother, basically, like, they just communicated to all the rest of my family members, telling them I just got into an accident, telling them where I'm at, whatever, and I'm asleep for a few hours. I finally wake up. They there. They just talking to me, blah, blah. And they told me, so basically what happened was I dislocated my neck. And when I dislocated my neck, it pinched a nerve in my spine, which is why I couldn't feel nothing. So basically I was paralyzed, like from the waist down. I was paralyzed, and then like my hands, I couldn't move my hands. Well, not really that I couldn't move them, but it was just like I could move my arms and hands and stuff, but as far as like gripping and like motor skills and stuff like that, that was gone. My boyfriend stayed with me. I ended up being in the hospital for like 2-3 months. I spent like a month and a half in Norfolk General. To actually go to therapy, they transferred me to ECU in Greenville. But yeah, they ended up transferring me to Greenville after like a month and a half, because they said my insurance wasn't going to cover me staying there because I was in a different state. So yeah, let me tell y'all about that transition. But yeah, this is me being like very transparent. So when I had to go to Greenville, keep in mind, this whole time I'm in Norfolk General, somebody's staying with me. The whole time. So my boyfriend, he would stay with me most nights, and then my mom would come and switch with him on the weekends when he had to go back to work, and she would stay with me. Because for some reason, I don't know why, like, I was scared to be by myself. Like, I didn't want to be alone. I mean, obviously, I had just gotten into that serious ass accident, so I don't think anybody would have wanted to be alone. But yeah, I didn't want to. I was kind of scared to be alone. So somebody stayed with me, right? When they told me I had to leave and go to another hospital, I was crying because, one, the hospital that I was in, it was only like 45 minutes to an hour away from where I actually lived. So it was easier for people to come see me. But then the hospital that I was going to, it was about 2 hours away from where I live. So I was like, damn, like, who the fuck is finna drive 2 hours every day to come see me? So I'm about to be by myself. So, and then the day that I actually went to go to the other hospital, me and my boyfriend had gotten into an argument the whole time I was riding on the ambulance to the other hospital. The whole time I was fucking crying. I was crying my ass off. The people in the ambulance, they was trying to like help me. They put on a movie for me and all of that. And I was crying through the whole movie. Cause I was like, I'm about to be by myself. Nobody's about to come see me all the way out here. Then me and my nigga just broke up. And yeah, I was distraught. And yeah, I finally got to the hospital. And I was fucking crying. Like, at first, I ain't gonna lie, the last 10 minutes of the ride, I stopped crying. Then as soon as they pushed me in that hospital, I started bawling. I started crying my ass off. And then they put me in a room. Now, the first hospital, when I was in a room, it was by myself. The second one, when I first got there, they had me in a room with somebody else, and it was this white lady. Let me tell you, I did not want to be there. Like, I was crying my ass off. Me personally, even though I went to college, I had a house down here when I came. So I never shared a room with nobody. I never, like, yeah. So when I thought I had to share that room with that white lady, no offense to any white people if you're watching. No offense, but I just did not want to share no room with her. I'm just like, man, oh my God, we're not gonna have nothing in common. She gonna be mad because my TV finna be loud and I'm not turning the shit down. Like, I just knew it was gonna be a problem. So I started crying even more. And then boom, my boyfriend pop up. He come in the damn room. Then we talk about everything, whatever. Then they tell me they're gonna move me to a room by myself. So then I was happy for a little bit, but then he had to leave. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I didn't think he was gonna like move with me, low key, because that's basically what he did. He moved with me. He had a sister out there who was living out there. And while I was in the hospital, he was basically living with me in the hospital. But like whenever he had to, you know, do regular stuff, wash clothes, whatever, he would go to his sister's house. I'm thinking he's gonna drive back and forth, whatever. Then he tells me like, yeah, I'm staying here. You know, I'm gonna be with my sister. And this is also before we knew that he could stay. Because in the other hospital, he stayed. Well, anybody I wanted, like, they stayed. And it wasn't no problem. But we was going to a new hospital and I didn't know their rules or nothing. So yeah. So boom, he told me that he was gonna be staying with his sister, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, it won't be a problem. You know, we could see each other every day. Great. They finally get me into my own room. Whatever. My mom comes, my aunt comes. They talk to the doctor. They talk to everybody. Let them know, like, what I'm going to be doing. Then, eventually, time goes by. My boyfriend, he finishes, like, unpacking or whatever at his sister's house. So, he's like, okay, can I come? Like, are they going to allow me to come there? Because at the time, it was kind of late. So I called in one of the nurses and I asked him if he could come. And it was like, yeah. But like I said, it was kind of late. So I was like, damn, like, I don't really want him to come if he's going to have to leave. So that's what made me ask her, like, okay, like, is he allowed to stay? She said, yeah, people could stay. It's just one person at a time. So right then and there, like, I was lit. I was happy as hell. I told him he could stay and he's been staying every night ever since. So I was in that hospital and they was giving me physical therapy and occupational therapy. And for those who don't know, physical therapy is basically it just works with like legs and everything, and strength in your whole body. It's not just legs, strength in your whole body. So yeah, or mobility in your whole body, because it's not just strength either. But yeah, it just works on that. And then occupational therapy works more in like being able to do everything yourself, like everyday things, like washing dishes, putting on your clothes, washing yourself. It deals more with like motor skills and your hand and stuff like that. Yeah. So pretty much every day they had me getting up for like an hour or whatever, and I would do physical therapy. But at the time, I still wasn't moving too much, so I wasn't really doing too much as far as like standing and walking and stuff like that. Slowly, the recovering process, because it's nerve damage, it's not like a broken leg or nothing, things come back slowly. So it started off with my toes or whatever. I started getting the feeling back in my toes and my feet, and then it worked its way up. And yeah, at first they started telling me to, do shit like wiggle my toes, and then once that started working, they started telling me to do shit like lift my legs and bend them and yada yada yada. And then once I started doing stuff like that, they had me moving into a wheelchair. So basically, even though the goal was to start walking or whatever, most of my physical therapy was based off of putting myself in the wheelchair, like being able to have the strength to get myself in the wheelchair. So yeah. And then occupational therapy was like, gripping, moving my fingers, stuff like that. It took about, I was there for about a month and a half. So, and it's so crazy that I actually say that, because it really felt like years. I ain't gonna lie. Like, when I was there, it felt like I was in there for a good, me being realistic, it felt like a good 3 months. Even though it was really like 1.5, it felt like a good 3 or 4 months. Yeah. But it took about, I'm gonna say a good, like, maybe 20 days. I didn't really start standing and doing like stuff like that until like the last week or last week and a half of me being there. So I finally started standing, and they got me like instead of, cuz okay, when I was doing like the work in the wheelchair, the physical therapy in the wheelchair, basically, because I didn't have the strength to like stand up and then sit in the wheelchair, they had me sliding into the wheelchair. But as I started getting the feeling and the strength back, and et cetera, and then they started working with my legs, and they got me standing, I started like squatting. It's called a squat pivot, but it's basically like, I guess you could say like stand up and then go into the wheelchair, basically. But yeah. So fast forward, I came home, I think it was December 10th. Came home because I was still unable to do things by myself. I needed a caretaker, which was supposed to be my boyfriend and my mom. Things happened. And yeah, but I came home and it was me, my boyfriend, and my mom, and we was all living in one house. My mom ended up moving down here to help me. So yeah, we was all living together. That shit was tough as fuck, but we're not gonna get too deep into detail about that. Yeah, I ended up coming home. I didn't have nothing set up. And that's another thing I want to really talk about. North Carolina is fucking horrible. Like, I'm from Connecticut. And in Connecticut, if this same thing would have happened, as soon as I would have got out the hospital, like, I would have had everything. I would have had my original wheelchair. I would have had all the supplies needed. I would have had, the Social Security or the SSI set up. I would have had everything by the time I got out the hospital. North Carolina is fucking terrible with that. Terrible. So it took so long for me to like have shit set up with physical therapy and shit. So when I first get out, my mom is basically my physical therapist. We standing up. At the time, me personally, I'm a little daredevil. I guess I've been called a daredevil most of my life. But yeah, I knew I could walk for a good little minute. Like in the hospital, when I first left the hospital, I felt like, okay, I could take a couple steps. But, I have a neck injury, and if I fall the wrong way, at the same time, yeah, at that time, I still had a neck brace too. So I guess they was just cautious. Like, they were like, we don't want you to mess up your neck again, and it's not even healed yet. So, yeah. Also, by the way, speaking of my neck, because I didn't really get into, like, I got into it a little bit, but anyways. So when I dislocated my neck, they had to put screws in it to, like, keep it together the way that it's supposed to be. So I have screws in my neck. Yeah. In my neck from, like, y'all can't see it. I'm not even gonna do all that. But it's a good, like, 3 or 4, like, sets of screws. Everybody was just scared of me, like, re-injuring myself. And they wasn't trying to let me walk. But when I got home, I basically started telling my mom, like, if you don't let me take no steps, I'm gonna do it by myself. And yeah, I'm not supposed to do anything by myself because like, I'm weak. Like, I'm coming out of being paralyzed. So my body is real weak. So I'm not supposed to do nothing by myself because I'm a big fall risk. So, her hearing, like, okay, if you don't do it with me, I'm gonna do it by myself. She's like, all right, we can start walking. We can start doing that. So that's what we started doing. We started, at first it started standing. I started standing at the bed, up and down, getting up from the bed, sitting back down, doing stuff like that. Then, yeah, I went from that to taking a few steps, walking forward, like a few steps forward from my bed and then a few steps backwards. Okay. Then, it just kept progressing on and on until I could, like, walk for real. Fast forward. Eventually, I got into physical therapy and occupational therapy. Eventually, everything just started coming in. As far as feeling, things have, like, I feel everything. All the feeling came back. As far as movement, like mobility and stuff like that, my right side is like the weakest. So, my right foot, like the whatever muscle it is that makes your foot go up and down is weak. So right now I wear a brace when I walk, mostly just outside. sometimes inside if there's like a party or an event or something at my house. But yeah, I wear a brace so that it could pick my foot up when I walk. Otherwise, it would drag, or it would just be really hard to pick it up. That's another thing. The injury that I have, like I said, it's not just like having a broken leg. You get a cast, a few months later you could take it off. It's a nerve thing, and nerves like are all connected to your brain. So basically that means like it's a disconnection between my muscles and my brain. So certain muscles, like I can move them, but because it's a disconnection in my brain, it's like it doesn't move the right way, or it doesn't move all the way, or it's like, yeah. So for an example, like my foot, there's a disconnection between the muscle that picks your foot up. The muscle that picks your foot up also picks your toes up, and yeah. So since there's a disconnection, like I can move my toes and I can move my foot, but it's only in certain angles where it moves correctly. Like I could tell my brain, okay, put your foot up, and it'll go up. But that's only in certain like positions. Like right now I'm sitting down. If I tell my foot to go up, it's gonna go up, but only like a certain, But if I was laying down and I tell my foot to go up, it's gonna go down instead of up. So, that's the disconnection in my brain. And basically, there's no like, to basically recover, I have to constantly think and tell my brain, okay, like move up, like force it, like it's not like, automatically. Like I have to think about it and I have to force it. And sometimes I even have to like look at it. Like, when you're normal, you just move around and it's like, okay, like you don't even think, you just moving, you just doing. For me, it's like, okay, like without the brace, I could pick my foot up, but I have to concentrate and really think, pick it up. Like, so that's how having nerve damage is. Well, my particular type of nerve damage, that's how that is. Some people, they have nerve damage and, they just feel tingly. But yeah, so I wear a brace, and also my hamstring on my right side. My hamstring is weak, so my knee it hyperextends. So I need a knee brace when I walk, especially when I walk without the brace. When I walk with the brace, I don't really necessarily need a knee brace. But yeah. And my right hand is weak. So it's hard for me to grip. Now, at this point in my recovery process, it's easier for me to grip things. But for some reason, like, and I already know why, because it's the muscle. Like the same muscle that connects this, it goes all the way down to my toe, and yeah. But anyways, basically this the only finger this the only finger that won't go down the way that all the rest of them do. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty much okay. I choose, if I really wanted to, I could walk around without like a walker or anything, but I choose to use it because I'm still like a little weak on one side. So if I was to fall without having anything, like any type of support or anything, it would be hard to get up. Then on top of that, because of the weakness in one side of my body, it makes balancing a little hard. So I am more prone to fall. So yeah, just having a cane, or like my Hemi, which is basically a cane, but it's like fat. But yeah, having that, it just gives me a little more stability whenever I do get unbalanced. But like when I'm in the house, I'm most likely not using anything unless my knee starts hurting. But yeah, I am mostly fully recovered. It's just little tweaks and whatnot, which will eventually get better, because my type of injury, it's been a year and some change already, but I personally started walking after like 3 months. Yeah, after like 3.5 months, I started walking. But when the doctor was first telling me about my injuries or whatever, he had said that I'm not gonna walk until, if I do walk again, it won't be until after a year. And he said it usually takes about a year or two to fully recover. So considering that I started walking in like around 3 months, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. And I'm almost fully recovered. Just a little bit of tweaks, which is why I go to the gym, because I don't have physical therapy anymore. I just started occupational therapy again to work on my hand. But yeah, I don't have physical therapy anymore. So I go to the gym pretty often. And yeah, it helps with the healing process or whatever. Because yeah, with my injuries, like I have to continuously do work, or else my body is gonna get stiff and certain things are gonna lock up. I go to the gym pretty often. Mostly when I go to the gym, I work on legs and arms. I just recently started to get into core exercises, because that helps with balance and whatnot. But yeah. Also, for those who have similar injuries, or who has had similar injuries to me, and their insurance won't pay for physical therapy, or stuff like that, or you can't get to physical therapy, whatever. If physical therapy is an issue for you and you have my type of injuries, I learned that everything is, and it's like, okay, that's pretty obvious. People say that all the time, but it's like literally everything is on YouTube, like every little thing. So exercises, like all the exercises, all you really need to know is the specific parts that are like what they're called, to that's really all you have to know. Like, but like for me, a big issue with me like walking and stuff like that was my hamstring. And yeah, so what I looked up was hamstring exercises for spinal cord injuries, and it'll give you a whole bunch of stuff and whatever. But yeah, just look up. You don't have to go to physical therapy. That's basically what I'm saying. You don't have to go to physical therapy. Just make sure you stay consistent and do the exercises that you look up. So yeah, because that was a thing for me. Like, there was a point in time where I felt like physical therapy wasn't doing shit. And that's another thing. If you're a young person, I highly suggest you just go to the gym, honestly. Honestly. Unless you go to a physical therapy place and they have younger therapists, I 100% encourage you to just go to the gym, because these people don't want to do nothing. They don't. What they're going to do, they're going to stretch you out. They're going to rub on you and they're going to talk. And especially if you're young with my type of injuries, oh yeah, they're definitely not going to do shit. They're going to be scared, because that's how they were for me. My mom had to force them to walk with me. Like, when I was first going to physical therapy outside of the hospital, they didn't know that I could walk. So, yeah, they're just working with me in the wheelchair or whatever. And then my mom's like, get her up. She could walk. Like, walk her. And they're like, oh, well, we're scared. We don't want her to get hurt, whatever. And that's when they were like, Laverne, get up. Like, like, show them you can walk. Because what the fuck? But yeah, they not going, no. Like, you'll be better off just having somebody go with you just in case you fall or something happens or whatever. But just go to the gym and have somebody go with you. Like, I'm telling you, these physical therapists aren't gonna do shit. They're not. Me personally, I really feel like physical therapy is for old people. It is. It's usually for old people who are still trying to move around or whatever. But because they're old, they're not encouraged to do too much. But, move around still, It's not for somebody who's young, who's full of life, who's like, okay, well, I want to get back to my life. You feel me? It's not for them. So if you're an older person, I'm going to say like 40 up, go to physical therapy. Because, they're going to start you off slow. They're going to do all of that stuff. They're going to take their time. They're going to be patient, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. It's going to be cool. But if you're young, or not even if you're young, if you're just somebody who's just like, okay, I need to get back to my life. Let me get back to my life. Let me hurry up and da-da-da. Physical therapy is not going to be for you. It's not. Occupational therapy, though, you're pretty much doing the same thing wherever you go. Like, whether you go home, you're doing the same thing. Whether you stay there, you're doing the same thing. Whether you try to whatever fucking occupational therapist you go to is going to be the same thing. Occupational therapy is just boring. You're not really doing too much because it's motor skills. Overall, while I was in it, it seemed very, very bad. It was kind of bad. But then now that I'm getting out of it, like, it wasn't really that bad. It wasn't. The only thing that was bad about the accident was losing my independence for a while. I couldn't do nothing for myself, and I hated that. Like, if you know me, like, I'm very much on the go, very much, you feel me, do what I want to do, move at my own time. Like, I'm just very independent person. So losing my independence really affected me, like, mentally. You go through a lot of shit, or whatever, especially because I'm young, you feel me? I'm not no old person. So sitting in the house for a while, because again, I wasn't able to do shit for a while. And when you're not able to do shit, like, okay, when you're not able to do certain things, it's like, I don't know. Like, okay, I wasn't really able to walk. I wasn't really able to use my hands too much. I wasn't really able to do much of that. But there was certain things that I could do. Like, could I go out to eat and have fun? Yes. Have fun going out to eat? Yes. Could I go to the movies? Yes. Could I, there was certain things that I could do, but I just didn't want to do shit because I couldn't do what I really, really wanted to do. So basically, I was in the house the majority of the time, not because I really, really had to be, but just because, like, I was just aggravated at a lot of things. Aggravated that, aggravated that I lost my independence, aggravated that I got into the accident. Eventually, me and my boyfriend ended up breaking up, but it didn't have nothing to do with me being in the actual accident. It didn't have nothing to do with none of that stuff. We broke up because, shit was happening. Life was life and whatever. But, yeah. Yeah, so it was just a lot of mental shit that I had to go through. But as far as like the physical stuff, a lot of stuff personally for me, a lot of stuff came back pretty quickly, pretty fast compared to what the doctor said, So I don't know. But then again, I was very motivated. Like at first, my boyfriend was really keeping me motivated. Like, so I stayed like doing stuff, whatever. And then after we broke up, I'm such a, like I said, such a get up and go person, such an independent person. I didn't want to be stuck in a house. I didn't want to, be stuck like that. Because that's another thing. Like with the type of injuries that I had, if I wasn't, the longer I didn't do nothing, the longer I was going to stay like that. So if I was to, instead of, doing the work and keep going and whatever, let's say if I just got real depressed and didn't do nothing and just cried, a lot of the stuff wouldn't have came back. It wouldn't have came back as fast or at all. So yeah, knowing that, okay, the more I do, the more I'm gonna get back, it was like, all right, like I'm trying to keep doing shit. I'm trying to, because I want my life back. So yeah, for anybody with those type of injuries, I would just really suggest for you to stay motivated. Try to stay motivated. Try to keep doing shit. Try to like keep going, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's going on. Just keep going, because yeah, like the longer you sit there and not do nothing, that's that's gonna make the recovery process slower, and it's gonna make it harder for you to recover. So yeah, I guess that's it. I just wanted to come up here and give y'all the story. And yeah, like I said before, a lot of people been telling me I should do it, and at first I wasn't going to, but I'm glad I did, because there are a lot of people who go through this, or there's a lot of people who go through this or go through similar things. And you never know who you can help. My story can help you or somebody else. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said earlier in the intro, I will be doing more vlogs, specifically like at photo shoots and stuff like that. I might just do regular vlogs anyways, just daily vlogs. But yeah, most of my vlogs is gonna be at the photo shoots, so y'all can see what I be doing on a regular. So yeah, let me stop. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this video to everybody all that good shit. Whatever. Oh, also, yeah, I got some things coming up. I'm gonna be talking more about that in another video. But yeah, I got some things coming up, so be on the lookout. Follow me on all my socials, Instagram, Twitter, specifically Twitter and TikTok. But yeah, specifically Twitter though, because that's where I'm gonna be posting most of this, about the thing that's coming up. that's where I'm going to be posting most of that, the updates and all of that stuff. So yeah. All right, y'all.